It's Friday night, March 21st, 2014. Mohammed Al-Mayuri is having a good time with his friends in the iconic Shisha lounge Fairouz in Amsterdam, a well-known spot in the underworld, moreover, considered the HQ of the group around Hose. Mohammed, for whom it is already getting late, decides to go home. As soon as he leaves the lounge, he is shot by two men and dies on the spot. The two protagonists disappear, and their getaway car is found burned. Questions arise regarding the victim, especially in relation to his role in the milieu. We know that during the same period, the trial for the liquidation in front of the Crown Plaza takes place, in which the main suspect, Ben Auf A, risks a long prison sentence. The latter has been a linchpin in the conflict between him and Martha's organisation since a large drug shipment was lost in the port of Antwerp in 2012. And it just so happens that Mohammed was about to testify on Ben Auf's behalf at an upcoming hearing. His testimony will never reach the court, and finally Ben Auf will be sentenced to 10 years, then confirmed to 12 years in appeal, for his involvement in the Antwerp shooting. This is not a problem, because the role of central lieutenant in the grouping around Hose is partly embodied by Omar, and the business will continue to operate smoothly. In addition, Gwinnett, who is murdered only 2 months after Mohammed, adds a remarkable episode for the group. With a period of destabilization, his heirs still wage their war and do everything to eliminate the rivals. After failed attempts to catch up with some members of the Hose group, they finally decide to turn to the big fish, Omar. And here we are again, in the ramifications of the Himalaya file, based on a large number of encrypted messages sent with PGP phones, which the police eventually gained access to. It is July 2014. It is known from official reports that Omar has been under constant observation for days. Those watching him have noticed that he almost always parks his black Fiat Punto car in the same place. Once the preliminary observation is done, the team decides to attack.
Bro, is everyone ready?
The main members are in charge of the development of the concrete plan, while Massoud is the soldier directed from a distance. It is about 1:30 in the morning when the victim has just parked his Fiat Punto car. Suddenly, Massoud approaches him and starts shooting immediately before running away. The same night, the authors celebrate the liquidation and assure each other of the smooth progress of the operation, and without having left traces.
The car was fixed. That dog is gone.
Okay, bro. I'm happy. Good night. And tell him thanks.
However, it was the wrong target. Stefan, together with his brother, attends the World Cup final for the third place between the Netherlands and Brazil at a friend's place in Amstelveen. Once the party is over, after midnight, he drops his brother off at home and continues on the road in a blue Fiat Punto towards his home. However, it seems that Stefan could not find a parking space at home, and so continues on his way to the next neighborhood where Massoud is ready to take action. It is amazing that the organization took the mission for granted and didn't realize their big mistake until the morning.
It's really fucked, Waller. Bro Jack made a big and really bad mistake.
Fuck, you're kidding. Now the other faggot is awake too. I have a headache straight away. And now back to zero, so...
Yes, the group will have to start from scratch to attack the real target again, which is Omar. Ilyas informs Dennis of the news.
The man is not the right guy. It's not the right license plate. It's not the right car. It's the same street, same car, but it's not the black colour. It had to be the black Punto. I clearly told him.
The group blames Masad, alias Jack, who should have followed the instructions given and not confused the colours of the cars. When Dennis asks Ilias if he knows who was in the Punto, Ilias replies,
I don't know who it is. I hope it's another one of his brothers or something like that.
Stefan was just a totally innocent family man who had nothing to do with the business. From the following intercepted messages, it appears that the organisation plans to continue the mission.
I know, man. But get out your head right now, okay? And focus on these guys. Bro, can we still do it, do you think?
I really don't know, brother. It's the same street and everything. So I'll see if they parked him there later.
Okay, bro, we gotta move on. What happened is fucked up, but we gotta move on.
The mission, so important for the heirs of Gwynette's group, ends in a bitter and dramatic failure. Stefan is the first victim of a murder by mistake in this quarrel, and unfortunately not the last. It is a terrible shock for his partner Yanka, and a huge loss for his child.
The moment he went looking for his daddy behind curtains and in closets is something I can't wish on my worst enemy.
It appears that the real target even came to apologise shortly afterwards.
It was intense. I saw a very young boy and I thought, man, go finish your studies. I started to look at these guys differently. They grew up in a culture where revenge and honour are highly valued. And you know, behind these guys, there's a range of men who prefer not to get their hands dirty.
As far as Masad is concerned, besides being held responsible for this mistake, he is really starting to be considered a problem for the group.
Bro, this man is becoming a problem. I'll think right now about what to do, brother.
They don't trust him at all, and they suspect that he is in league with the enemy.
I began to think maybe he told them everything, brother. Because he's good with them, you understand? Because suddenly he didn't want anything.
Yeah, bro, it's really weird.
Bro, it is Iran that speaks to them. Must slide directly.
Masad, of Iranian origin, who had already been hired for a new mission, no longer seems reliable in the eyes of the group. With growing suspicion, they decide that he must be removed from the circuit as quickly as possible. An ambush is set up for this mission.
Tell him that we've arranged 2 9mm with silencers.
Masad is supposed to be lured to a parking lot, offering him 2 guns, so the execution should be very easy to implement.
Are you men ready? The brother is very easy. We send that, he can pick up these things, then he comes immediately because he is stingy.
Dennis also mentions that weapons for the shooter can be found at Gokhan. On September the 3rd, 2014, the body of Masad Amin Hosseini was found in his car. He was sitting in the driver's seat, having been shot in the head from behind. Unlike previous liquidations, shots appear to have been fired from inside the vehicle, indicating that Masad did not expect his liquidation at all.
It's his own fault, brother. Seriously, he didn't have to. But yeah, he chose it.
It is true, brother. This man betrayed us, brother. And it's a lesson for the others.
After articles were published in the press reporting this event, the 2 subordinates of the group hope that when senior members in the hierarchy, such as Khalid, read them, then they'll start handing out money. Indeed, it is clear that the structure of the organization is ultimately very broad, with people letting the pawns get their hands dirty. In the Himalaya trial, one of these people is Khalid, who remains in the shadow. The man is responsible for the group's finances, but also for the distribution of PGP devices to soldiers. From the intercepted messages, it appears that this Ilias initially received a monthly allowance of 2,500 euros, which is difficult for him to manage.
I only pay for the house and the deposit with it, and I always share the money with two guys who go to pick up cars and tell everything.
Brother, we can't give money to everybody every month. These guys need to get money for what they do. That 2,500 pays for your life, and I can't give money to 10 men every month.
When Ilias passes the message on to his two teammates, they all complain about their income, while Sieur Ali feels they are being kept on a short leash. Thanks to a financial note found in a phone seized from Sieur Ali's apartment in Benidorm, Spain, it is clear to see that the structure even kept its own accounts. The note, called Newer Book for the new accounting, allows, among other things, to have an overview of the payments to individuals or the status of PGP phones. We can see that the 2,500 euros initially paid to Ilias, alias Lip, increased to 3,000 euros shortly after. Khalid, as the money manager, is also in charge of a budget that must be distributed according to the missions.
Look, man, this guy didn't explain to me anything about what he wants to do, or who he wants to do it with. He just said someone in a shisha, so I don't know what the intention is, and I can't give to everyone who yells something. If there is something serious, and someone needs to get something, tell me what it is and we give money.
As long as there is no real work worth money, it's really not worth bothering Khalid. This goes hand in hand with PGP phones, which are allocated only to people who add value to the organization. Finally, some soldiers started to be arrested. For example, Gökhan, who landed in prison. He still kept in touch with the outside world, thanks to a phone thrown over the wall of the penitentiary via a relative of Ilias. For years, Gökhan communicated with Dennis, who continued to take care of his family financially.
I miss you too, brother. Sometimes I sit in my cell and think about everything. I do not regret anything.
As for Dennis, he died in his cell in Spain in 2020 following a heart attack. And what is striking during this Himalaya trial in 2021 is that Ilias, after hearing that he is facing life imprisonment, finally starts talking. However, all of his statements are about people who are below him or on equal footing in the hierarchy. When Khalid's turn comes, he evokes the right to silence, which the law allows. Faced with the usual omerta that reigns in this milieu, it is not surprising that he is afraid. The man has already changed prisons 7 times for his own safety.